Hello, everyone. My name is Trey Jordan. I use she, her pronouns. I am based now in Brooklyn, New York. I am a filmmaker and producer and work in narrative space, acting, theater, and also film festivals.
Right. Speaking of which, I was going to ask you, because I know you went to school in Virginia, right? And you're in New York now. Are you from Virginia? Like born and
Um,
raised?
I am from Virginia's, kind of all over. My grandparents live they're more near Virginia Beach. My parents are more around like DMV, or like closer to like DC. And then I went to school at JMU, and I kind of like stayed in that like Harrisonburg, Elton, like Appalachia area. And so yeah, I got deep roots in Virginia.
Was there anything like from growing up that inspired you to get into film and acting?
Mm, I think something that's so interesting. My story is kind of peculiar. Anyways, my story is kind of interesting because um, uh, my parents raised me in a very conservative household, and so like we couldn't really watch much TV because it was all secular and bad and of the devil, and like my grandparents forever were like Hollywood is of the devil. And I was just like, wait, but I like it, but but it's fun. And so honestly, when I do look back and just like what inspired me to like go in this route, um, I think even though I wasn't allowed to like do a lot of like secular entertainment, I still enjoy the entertaining period. Um, I was able to have an iPad for like 2 seconds and like filmed Legos and like these little action figures. Um, and I was just like, oh my gosh, let's make this a narrative. Let's make it this a story. What's the drama? I was a drama queen. I was a drama queen. And then like the church had like local, like little Christmas organization things that I was just like, oh, let's do the Christmas play. Yay. And so that kind of like started the like, ooh, okay, it started the bug that I'm just like, yeah, I want to do this for real, for real.
Yeah, was there something like you thought about doing, like where you ever like, oh, I want to be a teacher? And you're like, no, 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 film's got it.
For the longest time, I thought I was going to be an architect. And I was just like, okay, we're going to go to school for architecture. I went to an architecture firm and like really like was like this was going to be my tea. And then I started looking at college programs. I was just like, this is like your entire life, girl.
You know, that's like a big jump. Architecture, film, like, wow. Okay.
It's kind of very interesting because I think my parents were definitely like, what are we doing here? But like now that I look back at it, it's like architecture, you're like building like the entire building, like and having the vision for it and like
Mhm.
figuring out what you need. And I feel like filmmaking is very similar just in terms of like story wise. Like we have 3 days to build this house. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? And so yeah.
How has like your personal experience been pursuing this sort of career with your background as a queer individual?
Oh, gorgeous question. Um, I think being queer and in I think being queer and in film has been a blessing and something that has also been something that I have had to like learn how to navigate. I think every day is new. Um, but one thing that's for sure is like um, once I did find my community, I feel like my community members are like so supportive and like so uplifting, and like now I like very much do work in like very much queer spaces, very much POC spaces, but that's also very difficult. One, and then two, sometimes isn't always financially viable as like a full-on career, even though I love working in queer spaces. um, sometimes things aren't as there's not as much funding in certain things, and so kind of like learning to navigate all of that has been something that I've had to learn, um, and just seeing the difference, like the very stark difference between like oh, like this X, Y, and Z got so much funding. Um, why? I don't know why, but they did. And unfortunately, either if it's like a corporate sponsorship or like something, like they don't give those same resources to
Mhm.
either queer or PRC filmmakers. And so it's kind of learning how to like stay in the community that I want to stay in, but also being like, okay, maybe I do need like a side job or like some other thing, or I just have to work 10 times harder to make sure that everything works out. And that's okay. We gonna work. We gonna work regardless.
You don't get there.
We gonna get there. Period.
So speaking of like building that community, I know you went from Virginia to New York. How was that sort of transition for you?
Mm, that was surprisingly an easy transition. I have been coming up to New York for probably like 5 years before moving. I went for like my 16th birthday, like my 18th birthday. And then once I did start like working in the entertainment industry, there was just work in New York. And so like I would go for some days and definitely may have skipped some classes. Woo! But it worked out. It worked out. It worked out regardless. Don't skip fast, y'all. Don't skip fast. But I've been coming up to New York for multiple years before I actually made the move, and so it was actually quite an easy transition. And luckily, I did have like kind of like some friends that were already here, and so it was less of like a, oh my gosh, I know no one. Where it's just like, okay, wait, I know a few people. We can figure this out a little bit. So.
Yeah, that's really good. Um, so do you feel like the community in New York that you have is better than what you had in Virginia?
Oh, I don't know
You
about
grew up in
better.
Virginia, but like,
Oh, I think one of the main reasons why I felt like I would thrive in New York is because of the energy that is just here. I feel like there's a lot of people here that are hungry and like willing to work. And I'm not saying that Virginia doesn't have that. I think there's just like an ease, more of like a stability here, where in New York it's so unstable at all times, and sometimes that energy is can like it works well if you're trying to like really pursue this as a career, and have to go out of your comfort zone and like do something you know out of this world. um and so yeah, I don't think there's like a better community in New York. I think it's just different. It's just a completely different energy.
New York has like that. They are very high energy in my experience. I'm like, they're up there.
We are
Always
at
something happening, hustle and bustle.
mm, yes, 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 yes.
So I know you have, is it two companies that you have, or do you have one and you help with the other?
What a
I know you have plenty more studios.
yes, yes, yes,
Are
yes.
you the CEO of Baby Teeth Film Festival?
I am the producer. I'm not the founder, but it is another one of my babies. So yeah, I started planning more studios about a couple of years ago when I was like, you know what? We need some more POC queer production companies from the absolute top, not just someone who like comes in for a day, like someone who's like trying to like build something longevity. um, I think that was something missing that I really didn't see a lot of, and so I started planning more studios for that reason. And then once I moved to New York, I got involved with Baby Teeth Film Festival, and I realized that this was something that I'm like truly, truly passionate about and like uplifting trans filmmakers. And so that is something that I'm so happy that I get to do for this season of Baby Teeth. Lord willing, I'll be able to do it for many more years. But yeah, I'm really excited for this year. It's going to be some very exciting stuff.
I seen that you guys were doing the film festival and I was like, oh, that's so cool. Because I seen the Plenty More one and I saw you doing Red Crocodile. How did that go?
Red Crocodile is my baby, my baby, my baby. Um, it went really well. I I think something that I really wanted to convey with that film, one, that it's completely possible to hire a primarily black cast in the middle of nowhere, Virginia, and also make it like super cinematic. Um, Even though it was like a lower budget, but something that is like something that was like so close to my heart, and I just like really talking about chosen family and like putting that inside of like a metaphor of like uh like mob family, which was so exciting to shoot, and then also being able to like go to a farm and like get like a live crocodile, guys. So yeah, my absolute baby love red crocodile, and I'm so excited to shoot more stuff coming up.
What do we have coming up?
We have a full slate. We have,
Because it's a lot.
we have a full slate. We have a full slate. So for Playmore Studios, I am producing, I want to say, four other projects for this year. One will be coming out very soon. Um, that one is kind. That one is called Kind of Sort of. Um, Very excited for that. That is like a digital web series, which is going to be so fun. And then there's this other series called Before They Tell Our Stories, which is talking about queer youth in New York City and, you know, going to college and like kind of like what that was like for them. And a lot of these people have like differing backgrounds. And so very interesting, like this like docu-series, like learning more about them. Super excited that I got to partner with Golden Boy Productions on that. So very excited for that one. And then we have two short films that we are definitely shooting in August. Started casting for that today. And hopefully some more coming up very soon as funding comes together.
Yeah, that's the heart of it all, too.
Yes, yes, yes.
What is it like juggling so much as a young queer POC individual in a field? I feel like it's changing, obviously, but like it was previously predominantly white. And I know that the cities are bringing more POC and queer people in. But what do you feel like in your personal experience has it been to build that community?
I am so excited for the work that I'm doing in terms of like bringing queer POC stories to the front. And I know you were talking about, you know, how the industry has changed, and it has, and I'm super happy that we are moving the needle. Unfortunately, there are still a lot of spaces, even in New York City, that are like all white and all cis, and it's actually so interesting. I was at a screening the other day, and um, I don't want to fully say too many names, but everybody in the film was white, and there was multiple films back to back where they were all white, and the only person that was a person of color that did speak was a server, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, in the year of our Lord, is this what we're doing? clutching my pearls. And it's just very interesting because like I've worked with like certain casting directors, not gonna say any names, but where they only have like a few black women on their roster, don't have any trans people. And so like yes, I'm so excited for the work that I'm doing, and hopefully this does start conversations for other people to also continue to do that work. But yeah, it's like it's exciting, but there's also so much work that we still need to do.
Yeah. No matter how far we go, I feel like it's always we can keep bettering. So it's like we'll keep trying to do that.
Hmm.
Of your films, which one is your favorite, or like which one are you most proud of?
I can't choose my babies, not my babies. I love all my babies equally. I do, I do, I do. um, uh, that is a really good question. Um, uh, mm, I don't know if I have an answer to that. I'm so
How
sorry.
about what is like one that maybe there was like a bunch of obstacles that you had to like overcome just to get that film out there, but you didn't stop because that's how much it meant to you?
Mm, mm, mm. I think probably Red Crocodile, even though it was not necessarily like a hard film, it was an ambitious film. Um, Trying to find a crocodile in Virginia, no one told me that was going to be difficult. Anyways, um, but I think one of the things that was so difficult was like one, I was still in school. It was my thesis film, but you know, I had an internship that year that was taking up so much of my time. I also got some really hard, like back to back family news, and that took a toll of to me mentally. I also was like um, in this weird period of my transition where like people started to like treat me differently, and so like that was like a mental like what in the world, like what are we actually doing here, like. And so I think all of that combined made like, oh, like in theory I could just like be in my house and like, you know, close the door, lock the door, be like I'm not going outside, um and like I'm not making this film, or like I don't want to do any of that. Oh, and I also was like working at like multiple places, and so like it was very easy that I could have like taken like a more um easy approach to like get that film out there. But I'm so thankful that I kept with it, because the film is something that I am very, very proud of. And I'm so happy that um, has its life of its own now.
Okay. So, before I get into like one of my last questions, you know that I had or when I reached out to you, I mentioned that we had been mutuals online for like a couple years. It was like around COVID when I was seeing your things. Yeah. And I've had the opportunity to watch you grow and become the woman that you are, and it's absolutely beautiful. And I watched your the New York video you had of like the recap of being in New York. And that's when I reached out to you because I was like, I got to see you do all these things, and I'm like, people need to see this. Like, we need to get her there because it was just beautiful. I was just being able to see it from the start and like seeing where you're at now. It's just amazing, and I'm loving it. And as someone who has been able to look up to you, especially when it comes to the film industry, yeah, I actually, you know what's funny? I was in school for biology, and this
Real
I was going to be a veterinarian, and
period.
slowly kept changing my major, and I just graduated with my film degrey. And I was like, you were one of the
Congratulations!
inspirations. Yeah, seeing like your behind the scenes of the things you were doing, it was inspiring.
I can't, I can't. Oh my god. Well, first off, congratulations. That is so hard, so huge. Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah, you're an inspiration. I was like, I don't you got to know that. Like as long as you know. So
Oh my god.
I was wondering, what, if any, advice do you have for people looking to step foot into the industry, especially as a Black or POC individual?
Oh, I think the best advice that I can pass along. Cynthia Erivo actually told me this, and she was like, always be ready for a yes. And I think a lot of times I was like, oh, there's like no way that they're gonna say no. Like they're gonna say no. Like I'm not even like try. Like we already know that's gonna be a no. And so I wasn't even like ready. Like I was like, there's no way that they would cast me in any of this. Like I barely have any experience. Like all that stuff. But after hearing that advice a couple years ago, I was like, you know what? Yeah, yeah. I am gonna have some headshots ready. I'm gonna have my website ready. Yeah, I'm gonna have my resume ready. Yeah, I'm gonna have this link ready to send at any moment. And I think that has helped me so much that I would love to share, like continue Cynthia Erivo. That was all Cynthia Erivo being like, girl, be ready. Be ready because guess what? People want to bless you. And that abundance mindset has been so monumental in terms of like really like manifesting the future that you want. Um, and yeah, I think that's the advice that I would give.
Yeah, I love that advice actually, because I'm about to take that now. Like, I'm about to use that.
Real, real, real. Cynthia was in her bag with that one. She said, "Be ready, be ready," and I'm like, "You're so right. Why am I not ready? You're so right."
Try so hard to get to that point. It's like you should be prepared to take that. Like you did it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's so interesting because I think also living in New York City and like working in New York City, like so many things are like last minute. Like even during this call, I got a message being like, "Hey, are you available on X, Y, and Z in a couple days to shoot X, Y, and Z?" And I'm like, "Sure." Can you send over some stuff? I'm like, "Sure."
Like right then and there.
And so like it's stuff like that where I'm just like, you know what, like that advice is so helpful because like I would have not been able to get all these blessings if I wasn't prepared for it. And so yeah, and the universe will always give you what you can handle. Um, and if you manifest it, it will come. It will come.
Just lost. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your story and your journey. I really appreciate it. And thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. This is so nice.